start winding down the year 2022, we've had our fair share of awesome action anime, and this list will be counting down my top 10 favourite action anime that started this year. But don't worry though, I'll also be talking about new anime this time. No sequels and such, so you don't have any catching up to do. Starting off at number 10 is Rust Eater Bisco.
テロリスト人食いだけの赤星ビスコだ
Let's start off with something that we don't hear people talk about often. Rust Eater Bisco is one of those seasonal action-adventure series that tries to hook you in with a unique and/or outlandish premise. In this case, it's all about chronicling our protagonist's journey through a world of rust as he looks to find a cure for a plague that's cursing the world. It's got great world building and the art is nice. I think it's not as much underrated as I view it as a decent adventure series that could use some more polish. Still, I really liked it for what it brings to the table, and the characters have their charms that you might like. It's also got some battles to keep you watching while plot twists get unveiled as our characters learn more about the world. Overall, Rust Eater Bisco is a show that's carried by its premise and production. Things look and sound top notch, and we've got some intense battles ahead. If you're up for a dystopian adventure like the good old 2000s, this show could be the throwback hit you'd love.
大丈夫痛くないから
別にちょっと痛くしてもいいけど
At number 9, we look at Skeleton Knight in Another World. If you're up for an isekai from this year though, I'd seriously consider checking out Skeleton Knight in Another World. The title may seem either plain or edgy depending on who you ask, but it's got a unique, comfy feel that you don't see from action isekai too often. I've seen people compare it to Overlord, but besides having overpowered skeleton protagonists, I think Skeleton Knight chooses to take a different approach with the character arcs of their protagonists, a more traditional one if you like. That doesn't mean that the show is shallow or anything like that. For all we know, the world of Skeleton Knight is downright wicked, and we see the usual anti-royalty themes a lot of isekai seem to espouse. It's a theme that I can't help but appreciate no matter how often it's been done in the genre, and if the story isn't enough to satisfy you, perhaps the visual and sound direction will. Character designs look pretty cool too. It's a casual isekai that doesn't exactly bring anything super revolutionary to the table. That doesn't mean you can't find something to like about it. It's got some great fights, a likeable cast of characters, and nice art and music. Do be aware though of some sexual scenes that could cause controversy, however. I know everyone's excited to see more anime recommendations, but what's watching anime without some handy sweets by your side? Today's sponsors have got you covered on that end, introducing Tokyo Treat and Sakurako. Tokyo Treat and Sakurako are a duo of subscription boxes that aim to share Japanese culture and invite everyone to experience Japan right in the comfort of their own homes. Tokyo Treat, being one that focuses more on the latest and limited edition exclusive seasonal snacks, will be providing a genuinely Japanese taste at Christmas. I bet you've never tasted winter caramel pocky before, and the same goes for Donagiri Christmas corn chips. With a Tokyo Treat subscription, you can have these snacks and more in this month's Santa Snack Fest box. On the other side then, we have Sakurako, the box that features more of the traditional artisan side of Japan. You do get the best of the Tochigi Prefecture thanks to their tie-in with the local government, and if like me, you've never been to the place before, you can still taste the best of what they have to offer, like these strawberry tiramisu biscuits. Oh, and did I tell you that Sakurako also provides some of the prettiest kitchenware and tea? For this month, we'll be getting furoshiki, a wrapping cloth. We'll be taking things a step further and introducing a free ticket to Japan giveaway for December. Don't forget to use my code VINI to get $5 off your first box and a chance to experience Japan in person. It's a chance of a lifetime, and it will be a complete waste not to give it a shot. Check the links below to know more, and I wish you luck in winning that super special prize. We have a movie up next, and it's Bubble. Classical literature being the inspiration for anime is nothing new, but did anyone really expect to see a movie that's inspired by The Little Mermaid? As in the original tragic version of that. Yet here we are with Bubble, a movie that dazzles us with astounding visuals that give life to its symbolic world. Like a lot of anime films, Bubble has that magical aura all throughout, one that wonderfully meshes with the art that harkens back to the Shinkai films we've come to love. The story at first glance seems like a typical boy meets girl story that we've seen a lot of times, but without giving spoilers, I'd say that it adds more to that usual trope. One thing it has over a lot of other anime movies is how well it does immersion. A lot of anime films cheat immersion through rotoscoping visuals and all of that, but Bubble manages to keep the audience immersed in the fast pace of its action sequences without being too overwhelming. A decent story backed by stunning visuals and an amazing soundtrack. Bubble's a treat for anyone looking to pick up a new anime film. Action feels more like a secondary genre compared to the exploration and sci-fi in my opinion, but it's good enough in all counts. Up next is Eminence in Shadow at number 7.
限界を超えなければならない。僕の憧れる存在は核では蒸発しないのだ。妥協は許されない。
In contrast to the chill yet heroic atmosphere Skeleton Knight tries to impose for a first impression, Eminence in Shadow goes a different direction. From the get-go, you see that it goes all in on the Chunibyo side of things, both figuratively and literally. You got Kirito XP here leading the charge from the shadows, and supporting him is a harem of pretty and badass action girls. It's the usual stuff that you'd often find in people's guilty pleasure lists. Stuff that I unironically enjoy a lot. Something like, say, Arifureta in terms of demographic. It's got a lot going for it in terms of the entertaining factor, although it heavily caters to a specific niche or demographic. Still, I think it's worth a try if you're up for one of these power fantasies. It embraces its ridiculous nature while interweaving a serious overtone and plot to complement it. It does take a while to rev up because of the long exposition dump in the first few episodes for some reason, but when it found its footing, it's a show I thoroughly enjoyed. It helps that the art help gets the cool factor of the show across as well. But if you're up for something more generalist that you can have a lot of fun with, Lycoris Recoil is here. I admit it, before the season aired, I didn't think much of Lycoris Recoil. Cute girls with guns on special ops? I've seen a lot of those already, and it's not particularly in my genre of interest. However, watching Lycoris Recoil immediately made me think that I'm in for something special. And it's not in the story or the setting being super unique or memorable or anything like that. It's all in the execution. People may flock to Lycoris Recoil for the guns and the cute, but I think that the strongest aspect this anime has going for it is in its character dynamics and growth. The main cast's colourful personalities shine through in their interactions, and even the antagonists are cool and have depth. You can really feel the chemistry between the characters of Lycoris Recoil, and that enhances the show by a lot. Suddenly, a rescue op gets more emotional stakes for you. Suddenly, a rage moment carries more gravity, and you get hooked to watching the series, always curious about what fate awaits the characters. It's the emotional pull that's the boon of Lycoris Recoil. However, that's not to say that we should forget the amazingly choreographed gunfights and action sequences. Those things get really tense at key moments.
エリカを殺す気か。
生きてますよね。
Lycoris Recoil looks amazing and all, and I'm happy with it, but you know what makes me happier? Seeing the likes and subscriber numbers increase. So if you're enjoying the video, make sure to show your appreciation by doing the too. Next in line is Gundam Witch from Mercury.
なんだお前は。
With mecha as a genre taking more and more innovations and added gimmicks to keep up with the modern anime scene of trying to stand out, it's no surprise that Gundam would be the next franchise to take that leap. Witch from Mercury decided to take the franchise to a place I never expected it would go to half a decade ago. The whole academy setting with the jewels and of course Yuri bait. What I like about Witch from Mercury, however, is despite all the whole modernization / innovation thing, we never lose too much focus on what I feel was the franchise's main appeal, the mecha. The mobile suits look as good as ever, and the duels have been entertaining scuffles so far, weaving the fun of robot battles, surprisingly tactical and creative ones at that too, with animation that's surprisingly top-notch. Then again, it is Gundam, so what else did we expect? Witch from Mercury looks to be a new launching pad for the franchise to recapture its glory days, aiming to pull from both new fans and veterans. It's a serviceable one at that too. I don't think that the glory days will ever come back in terms of popularity, but Gundam is here to stay and evolve along with the times.
あれが学校。お母さん、とうとう来たよ。
Fourth place in my rankings is Spy Family.
そのためにまず結婚して子供をこさえろ。
Spy Family really is something special, and I'd say that the show came up big, but not in the way I first expected it as a non-reader of the manga back then. Sure, it's got its thrilling action sequences that qualify it for this list, but what I feel is the strongest part of Spy Family is in its character dynamics. Much like what I said about Lycoris Recoil, the entire main cast is just so likable. Spy Family also ups it by providing a comedic undertone to the character interactions. These people just seem like people you'd want to be with, and the trials the Forgers go through can be both funny and wholesome. It's a legitimately heartwarming tale of family, something that you just don't expect to see out of modern anime. It's a breath of fresh air from what we've come to expect, which explains its popularity. So if you're up for a treat to watch with your family, this is the 2022 anime for you.
あーや、ピーナッツが好き。人参は嫌い。カリカリベーコン好き。
Opening the top 3 for me is Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
売らない。こいつを俺にインストールしてくれ。
Cyberpunk was a common genre in anime, but we haven't seen much of it lately. Yeah, there's stuff like Ghost in the Shell, but how often do those come out, much less be picked by the mainstream public? Then came Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and the community went wild. Cyberpunk Edge Runners broke all my expectations when I saw it. I saw it as probably a middle-of-the-road nice show to watch, basically a glorified promotion material for the gaming franchise. But I came out pleasantly surprised to have seen a show that presents some strong and relatable themes, all under the guise of the sci-fi and the explosions. The best part of it is how it engages the viewers early with how cool it looks before pulling the revelations. The world, the technology, and the action. Everything looks awesome and hype. Then it pulls the curtain and reveals some twists that make us second guess our life choices and perceptions right around episode 6. Trigger's also manning the wheels, so seasoned fans will probably know what else to expect. Overall, a surprisingly good video game adaptation full of action and relevant themes, but I think I should be cutting that surprisingly soon. Game adaptations have been getting better and better these days. In second place, I pick Summertime Render.
待ってくれ。
ミオのこと守っちゃってね。
うちよ。
In a nutshell, Summertime Render is a time loop thriller that has our hero Shinpei uncovering the mysteries behind shadows that began appearing in an island. When things start connecting to human deaths and a sinister supernatural force enveloping the island, that's when we know we're in for a ride. Summertime Render is the show in this list that I feel the most satisfied watching. The mystery part of the series is done so well you're left anticipating the episodes after coming up with theories left and right. And as each episode unfolds, you start seeing the bigger picture and how well the writing is. It also does a great job in adding stakes to the time loop mechanic to keep the suspense up instead of giving the protagonist a cheat code. The pacing is on point, the action's on point, and it's a show that has such a strong foundation in terms of its plot. Summertime Render has a serious case of being 2020's anime of the year.
料理やって。
Topping off my list is Chainsaw Man. Of course, we end with the most hyped new title of 2022, period. Honestly speaking, I could interchange this placement with Summertime Render. While Summertime Render envelops its narrative with mystery and gets you to think and piece the clues together, Chainsaw Man goes full throttle with the high-octane action, and the carnage gets animated in such a glorious manner. You know the studio just gets their priorities straight. The title has been given much-deserved love from both the studio and the fanbase. Chainsaw Man is an exhilarating ride, and while it's easy to brush it off as a simple and just action and brutality, isn't that the point here? Chainsaw Man is a title that thrives on the simplicity while deconstructing some of the usual tropes that we've come to expect out of a Jump title. Yeah, it is a Jump title, and it's probably the one you'd want to watch the most if you're in it for the fighting and the unrelenting nature of R-rated action titles. Now, how does your top 10 list compare to mine? If you've got something to comment on, head down to the comment section and share your thoughts. Or you can drop by the channel's Discord or other social media. Thank you for watching, and I hope you had a good time. If you found something new to watch thanks to this list, then do tell me, because that would definitely make my day. Hoping to see you next time.